Welcome back to Royals Show. Today we will explore one of the most personal and painful questions surrounding the British monarchy. Will King Charles III and Prince Harry ever bury the hatchet? The estrangement between father and son has been one of the most talked about family conflicts of recent times, and it has left millions of people around the world wondering if reconciliation is still possible. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories and updates on the royal family. The story of King Charles and Prince Harry is not just about royalty. At its heart, it is about family, about love, loyalty, betrayal, and the very human struggle of trying to balance duty with personal happiness. Since Harry and Meghan Markle stepped away from royal duties in 2020, the relationship between Harry and his father has deteriorated in full public view. And after the death of Queen Elizabeth II in 2022, instead of the family coming closer together, it has often felt like the distance between them has only grown wider. Family estrangement is more common than people think. At Cornell University, sociologist Carl Pillemer has studied the issue for years, and his research shows that in the United States alone, more than 68 million people are estranged from a family member. The numbers across Europe are not much different. Therapist Pauline Boss coined the term ambiguous loss to describe what happens in these situations. When a family member is alive but absent, they remain like a ghost in the background. They are not gone, yet they are not present either. This leads to unresolved grief, constant anxiety, and depression that spreads across the whole family. For Harry and Charles, this ambiguous loss has played out under the harshest spotlight imaginable. Harry's public disclosures have cut deeply. His memoir, Spare in 2023, the Oprah interview in 2021, and the Netflix docuseries all painted a picture of pain, resentment, and distance. In May 2025, Harry gave a BBC interview where he admitted his anguish over Charles refusing to speak to him directly, citing security disputes as the reason. For Harry, it was another reminder of the walls that now exist between them. For Charles, who is currently fighting cancer, the ongoing estrangement has reportedly been a source of extreme distress, as reported in Tatler magazine in August 2025. The very public nature of this rift has made it even more difficult to heal. In Carl Pillemer's studies, people describe the shame and scrutiny of family conflict as some of the hardest parts to endure. For the royal family, every look, every word, every silence is dissected by the press. And behind the headlines are the quieter losses. Archie and Lilibet, Harry's children, growing up with little to no connection with their royal cousins. These are the kinds of ripple effects that estrangement always causes in extended families. The roots of this rift are complex. Family conflicts rarely come from one moment. They are built over years, shaped by values, expectations, and misunderstandings. For Harry, leaving royal life was about defending his wife and children, about claiming his personal freedom. For Charles, who has dedicated his entire existence to the crown, this must have felt like rejection, a betrayal of duty and tradition. Their visions of what life should be could not have been more different. Of course, speculation about Meghan Markle's role has added more fire to the situation. Media outlets like Marca in August 2025 suggested that her reluctance to return to the UK makes her a gatekeeper, complicating reconciliation. For insiders, the bigger issue has always been trust. Charles and Prince William are said to distrust Harry because of his willingness to share private details publicly. They fear that anything said behind closed doors might one day appear in another book, interview, or television special. But how does the public feel? Opinion is divided. A YouGov poll in May 2025 found that 61% of Britons viewed King Charles positively. In a Mirror survey that same summer, 60% of respondents expressed sadness about the rift, especially given Charles's cancer diagnosis. Younger Britons, those between 18 and 24, are far more sympathetic to Harry, with 55% viewing him positively. Among older generations, the sympathy is much lower. Only 29% of those over 65 expressed a positive view of Harry, according to 2024 data. Globally, the reaction is just as mixed. Reuters, in May 2025, described the rift as a tragedy and urged Charles to act as a father before a monarch. But even then, many noted that Prince William's opposition to Harry remains a serious barrier. Numbers also show just how difficult reconciliation may be. Only 20 to 30% of Britons told YouGov in 2025 that they believed Harry and Charles would ever truly reconcile. Harry's favorability rating has slipped to 28%, while William's remains strong at 74%. This gap reflects not only the trust issues, but also how differently the two brothers are perceived. Still, reconciliation is never impossible. Carl Pillemer's studies on estranged families show that healing can happen, but it takes patience, compassion, and a decision to focus on the present rather than dwelling on the past. Many successful reconciliations began only after years of silence. They happened slowly, with boundaries in place, with small acts of trust. For Harry, some recent actions suggest a willingness to move in that direction. Ingrid Seward, writing for Fox News in August 2025, pointed out that Harry has shifted his focus toward charity projects and has avoided new tell-all stories. His emotional plea in May 2025, where he spoke about his father's limited time because of cancer, was another sign of hope. In Pillemer's research, health crises often become the turning point for families to reconnect. There are, in fact, glimmers of hope. In 2024, Charles sent Harry a birthday message. A small gesture, yes, but gestures can matter. Harry, for his part, has continued to attend certain UK events such as the Well Child Awards, showing that he still has ties to home. Research by Coleman suggests that reconciliation is often initiated by parents. If Charles decides, in light of his illness, to make the first move, Harry may well respond. Of course, reconciliation may not mean Harry returning as a working royal. That door may be closed forever. What it could mean, however, is a quiet, private understanding between father and son, a recognition of love, even if their public roles remain divided. Reports in July 2025 even spoke of a meeting in London between aides of King Charles and Prince Harry. Sources suggested that the time is right for an olive branch. Harry's own public comments to the BBC in May reinforced this, as he spoke of wanting to reconnect with his father before it was too late. But progress is fragile. In the same month, stories emerged that Harry had turned down a meeting with Charles. This back and forth reminds us that reconciliation is rarely a straight road. There are setbacks, false starts, and moments of hope followed by disappointment. So we return to the question, will they ever hug and make up? The answer is not yet clear. What we do know is that both father and son deep love. Beneath the tension and mistrust, There is history, blood, and the shared grief of losing Diana, the woman who once connected them both. For now, the world waits. The monarchy too waits. Will Charles find it in himself to reach out? Will Harry choose to step back from his grievances and allow space for healing? Or will this estrangement remain unresolved? Another royal story of pride and pain. Time is running out, and perhaps, in the end, that ticking clock will be the one thing powerful enough to bring them together.